to be something else that is beyond what the norm is. America has an abnormal culture for women other than any other place in the world. It's abnormal. It's abnormal. Women in the Middle East, in fact, the fact that we think that they're crazy. Because really it is this country that has taught women to be abnormal. Any other country you go to, Africa, you go to all these other countries, there's a position that men have of honor and respect. And this Western demonic culture have taught women that you stand toe to toe to men, you're equal to men. Y'all have got just as quiet as y'all. But it's abnormal. And so now, when you're born in this society, you have to be taught something that you should have automatically. No woman should have to be taught to be submitted to a man. That should be your culture. No woman should have to be taught that the husband is the head. And these are people who are not biblical. Muslims are taught this from a biblical perspective. China and all these other, like in the boondocks of Africa, they're not taught that. That's nature. Animal nature will submit to that male in nature, and most of it in nature. So we are living in a country that has went against nature, and now we have a problem because now when someone is teaching you to be submitted, you think that's against nature, against God. It's against what you've been taught. But now we have to learn the way of holiness. And there's a behavior that comes with being saved. And sometimes you can be saved and haven't learned the behavior. See, behavior has to be taught. And so you got a lot of saved people that don't know how to behave. And that's where your sisters have to realize the importance of your job. And the task that God has for you is to teach women the behavior of holiness that they didn't receive at their house, so that the nation of the church can be recognized. Get 1 Peter 2 and 9. 1 Peter 2 and 9. All right? Now, I don't need y'all to be screaming and hollering and putting your hand on your hip and your hand on your ear while you got women that don't know how to behave. The ultimate job of women of God is to teach women in two areas: their children and their husbands, their homes, because that's the woman's ministry. The church is not your ministry. That's my ministry. And your ministry in the church is to teach the women how to minister at the house. Come on now. Amen. I want to walk and talk tonight. The whole purpose of your ministry in the church is to teach women how to behave at home. I don't need you giving out no deep revelation about the mysteries of this and the mysteries of that and all of that, because that's my job. I don't need you to teach another Bible study. That's my job. I teach Bible study. Sunday morning, Sunday night, I preach them. But I need you to focus on that woman and teach her how to be a woman, to teach her how to be a wife. Because there are three stages of womanhood. You go from a woman to a wife to a mother. Woman, wife, mother. Y'all done went from woman to evangelist. Woman to devotion leader. Woman, wife, mother. Those are your goals. That's where you should be aiming for. I got this from the Bible now. Now for y'all that don't believe I'm talking Bible, go to 1 Timothy 5. Make sure I got this. Make sure I got it right. 1 Timothy chapter 5. And I want you to get verse 14, 5 and 14.
I would therefore
All right, I would therefore
that the younger women marry,
that the younger women, I want them to marry,
bear children,
bear children. I want them to marry, have children,
guard the house,
and do what?
guard the house,
Guard their house. Bear children and guard your house. Read.
give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully.
All right, don't give no adversary, don't give an occasion to the adversary to preach reproachfully.
For some are already turned aside after Satan.
Why it says that? Give the adversary. Because when a woman is missing out of her house, the children get out of control. And people start talking bad about the church. They start saying them children was in the church all their life, but look what they're doing. Look what they're doing now. That gives an opportunity to speak reproachfully, so the woman guides the house. That's very powerful. Give her the authority to guide that house, because the church needs to be protected from the devil. We done prayed and put oil up to protect the devil, church from the devil, but there's an aspect of a woman guiding her house protects us from reproach. Read it again.
I would therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully.
What do you mean? By guarding the house, I keep the devil from speaking reproachfully?
For some are already turned aside after Satan.
Now get me, some have already turned aside after Satan.
If any man or woman that believeth have widows.
All right, go get me quickly. I want you to get this 1 Peter chapter 2. I want you to get Titus. Get Titus. And I think I'm supposed to be talking about Vashti and Esther, right? Titus 2. Amen. Get Titus chapter 2. Titus 2 and verse 1.
But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience, The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness.
The aged women. Now there's a difference between age and older. Because there's a lot of women who are older, but they're not aged. So age deals with not just you being old, but things that you have learned. Because some of y'all are old and ain't learned nothing. Age is a process. You know, you got aged cheese. It's where it's been stored. So when you've been around a lot of wisdom, that gives you age. You've been around a lot of knowledge and a lot of teaching, a lot of things. I've seen some dumb 80 years old. Some dumb 70 years old. Don't think that older always mean aged and wiser. But they want these aged, read,
Not false accusers.
That they be, read it again.
The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Not false accusers.
Let's talk about the behavior. First thing, say not false accusers. You know, women have the ability of assuming something and go and tell another woman, I don't think she like you. That's a false accuser. You don't have any validation to say why you don't think that she liked her, because when you sung or I saw something or I felt something, and y'all stop lying on God talking about the Spirit showed you, or you felt something, or you had a dream. Because there's a lot of people, relationships are broke up based upon false accusers. Nothing to solidify it. So it talks about the older women or the aged women that did not be false accusers. Make up accusations against people. Assume things against people and put those things out and spread them. All right, read,
Not given to too much wine.
Not given to too much wine.
Teachers of good things.
Teachers of good things.
That they may teach the young women.
That they may teach the young women.
To be sober.
That's talking about being sober now. This is things you ought to be teaching. We need some sobriety classes. See, when was the last time you had a sobriety class in church? Now you're all supposed to be teaching women to be sober. Have we taught women how to be sober? Now, sober deals with drinking. But people don't only drink. You can become drunk with fashion, drunk with spending, drunk with anger. How many women we got are drunk now that can't pay their bills because they get drunk with fashion? And they got Gucci's and everything else but can't pay light bills. They're drunk. How many young ladies we got here drunk because they want to be married and because they can't get married around the church depressed? I don't need you sisters, and we got to have a women's department that is designed for women. And it's designed to deal with the issues specifically that God said we need to deal with. Sobriety. There's a lot of women who are not they're not sober. Some are drunk with pride. Some are drunk with haughtiness. Some are drunk with rebellion. And you got to get people sober from that. You have to teach classes. Teach them to be sober. What else? Read.
To love their husbands.
And to love their husband. You know, you got women in the church don't love their husband. They're just married. They're just there. And because they're having sex don't mean they're loving each other. They just hide and want to get it on and get through and go into a whole nother room. I got to teach them how to love. And as I challenge every woman's department,